Hey, good morning, everyone. Yeah, my rocker took me right into the phone. It's like, hello. Okay, anyhow, seriously, good morning. Welcome to Morning Minutes. It's a great Thursday morning down here in the South. And, just a deep breath today. I'm glad you've decided to come out and join us this morning. This morning's topic is probably one that's going to hit a lot of people's. We're just right between the eyes. And I saw a lot of this yesterday in a couple of comments that were going on and through some groups that I'm in. And it really hit home because I thought about what God would have to say about it. So we're going to talk about it this morning. Why not, right? So with that, let me get a quick sip from my giant mug. We forgot to wash the dishes last night, so I had to take my giant one instead. So today we're going to talk a little bit about others' limitations. What does that mean? Others' limitations, when I say that and I word it together like that, is basically, we all have dreams, we have goals, we have things that we want to aspire to do, we have visions that we want to accomplish, we have gifts that we've been given to go and do and give and create and all of this. Everybody says dream big, but then what happens is we allow what others say to limit what we can do. This is a mindset issue. So in the Health Mindset Cafe and robinhardy.net, this is all going to be tied into a healthy mindset. Because you see here, there's no one that can change what you've been gifted and called to do. Just a quote from Oswald Chambers. Oswald Chambers has, because he was teaching about Abraham's faith, and he says in here, the great point of Abraham's faith in God was that he was prepared to do anything for God. And that's not because Abraham had everything in him to do it. It's because God equipped him. So no matter what came against him, think about Noah. Think about Noah when he built the ark. Okay, you've got this man building this large boat in a climate that has had no rain, and he's talking about there's a flood coming. I've got to build this boat. We've got to make it this big. Here's my dimensions. And it's all because we're going to be flooded. Now, he was mocked terribly. But he was called by God. And the faith that that man had during that time is amazing. Because no matter how other people were limiting him and limiting his capabilities, his mindset, what he could do, he still got up, was obedient to God, trusted God with his whole heart, and had faith and moved forward. So we're going to look at why we allow other people to limit us. And what I want right now is I'd like for you to write down, what is that one thing you've been wanting to do that you've been limited because other people have told you you're not enough. You're not smart enough. You're not good enough. You don't have enough money. What is that one thing? What is your big thing that you want to do that is a passion for you? Write it down. I'm sure you've got it written down somewhere in a journal, but write it down now. The next question for you is, are you living that? So whatever you're called, whatever your dream is, whatever this passion, this thing is over here, are you living it? If yes, praise the Lord, keep going. If no, ask yourself why. Is it because other people have told you things that have discouraged you, that have pulled you away from it? You just don't feel you're adequate enough? What is your why that you haven't moved forward? Because we're gonna hit that on the head right here in a minute. Because we allow the words of other people, we put ourselves in situations that they aren't Christ-centered, that they aren't with people who have our best interest in mind. A lot of times you'll find if you're striving, you're moving forward, and God's calling you, and you're doing what you're supposed to do, and you're successful at it, you're going to have folks come against you and start mocking you. They're going to start telling you can't do it. They're going to criticize everything. And what you see in that is what that is, just so you know what that aspect is, that is a reflection of that person. So what happens is, if somebody is living in fear, or they wish they would have taken action, or they're jealous. Jealousy is a good word to put in there. What they do is they attack you. They want to take you down. Because if you're here serving, you're doing what you're supposed to do, and it's amazing, and you're just loving life, and there's this people over here that they're just miserable, and they're haters, and that's just what they are, because they've chosen not to do anything. Because remember, we talked earlier this week that everything we do is a choice. The Bible is action. Again, like I said earlier in the week, the only thing that God has in there where we're not of action, and it's not action words in there, is where he says, be still and know I'm God. The rest of it is action, and most of it's immediate. So what that means is, God has gifted us. That means we're supposed to go and do what he says. Not go to the world and look for somebody else's advice on, well, God called me to do this, but I don't know. We need to take that before the foot of God and say, okay, Lord, if you've called me to do something, I need you to equip me. And he will. God doesn't call us to things he can't equip us for. God doesn't put a passion in you for something that he will not provide a way to have it happen. You have to know that. But instead, our nature is to go to those people, probably ones closer to you, and you share this passion and this desire with them, and what happens? They put limitations on what you can do. They put limitations on your success. And it's all because they can't. I know when I first started a business, I had so much in the family that came against me. Even my husband's mom did. Because all they knew is corporate job. You work 40 hours a week, you get a paycheck, you get retirement, and you work till you're too old to work and you retire. But it doesn't work that way anymore. And I don't fit in the box. I never have. I get inside the little box that the world wants me to sit in, and I start kicking my arms out, kicking the legs out, making little peepholes on the top so I can do rabbit ears out. I don't fit in the box, and neither do you. It's time for you to own who God has called you to be. It's time for you to respond and move in what God has called you to move, and stop letting other people's limitations hold you back. Because a woman of God that is empowered, a woman of God that is called, a woman of God that is obedient to what God has called her to do is unstoppable. The only time that we become stopped or paralyzed is when we choose, to listen to what the world's telling us and what the naysayers are saying. So it's time for you to choose. Will you allow this passion that you wrote down to be limited by other people? Or do you want it to thrive and grow and blossom as the thing that God has designed it to be for you? Because, girls, we know we're fearfully and wonderfully made in his image, that God wants the best for us. He wants to give us the desires of our heart if we seek him. But the question for you right now is, what is holding you back? What is limiting you? Sorry, we got our truck going. What is limiting you? Seriously, are others' opinions holding you back? Are other people limiting how you can move forward. We have to stop it. We have to trust God. We have to be like Abraham, and we have to say, yes, Lord, and step. Because the verse for today is Philippians 4:13, and I'm sure you know the verse. Again, Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. He doesn't say, Robin, you can do some things. The scripture says, Robin, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Put your name in there. You can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. So what are you being limited by in this world? What is your passion? What is it you're not pursuing because somebody by you said you're not enough to make it happen? Time to shake it off, girls. Time to own what God has called you for. Because trust me, it's an amazing ride once you get off the world's bandwagon and get on to what Christ called you to do. So I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to pray for you guys. If there's something you want to share regarding what your limitations might be. I mean, they can be physical limitations, but most of our limitations for what our passion is usually in our mindset and from those around us. Because if God's called us to do something, there's always a way to get it done, because He provides that. So share down below, what is your passion? What is it that your big dream is? What are you going after? And I'd love to hear if you're struggling with limitations, because I'd love to pray with you and encourage you and cheer you on, because, girls, it's an amazing ride when we feel God's heart and His passion for us versus what the naysayers say. All right, so with that, no more letting others limit us. We're going to jump in. We're going to have faith like Abraham and like Noah, and we're going to follow that passion. And we're going to trust God. He hasn't let us down yet. All right, catch you in the morning tomorrow. Bye-bye.